Needle felting is using a special barbed needle to tangle the fibers of wool. So if you have a cookie cutter at home, a metal cookie cutter, you can create simple shapes. This one's a bit complicated. This one is simpler. So you might have Easter egg shapes or other nice spring shapes that you can use. I want to create an orange star. So I can do it a couple of different ways. I can take a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow and just work it between my fingers so that the colors blend. Or I can simply add both colors to the star and let them blend a little bit on their own so the different colors show. So it's just taking the wool, setting it in the shape, and then I'm going to use the needle around the outside of the middle shape so it holds all the wool in place. You want to keep your fingers out of the way. So for a younger child, you probably could tape this down or pin it into place so that they wouldn't even need their other hand there. But I would advise that you know your child's ability and that you supervise because the needle is very sharp. You can see that as I'm poking, that wool shape is getting flatter and the wool gets pressed down. So I did the outside first, and then I just go back and forth across the middle. It's not quick. Probably would take, well, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to make a really good firm shape. Now I'm going to move the cookie cutter. You can see the shape is still there, but it's kind of loose and squishy. I can pick it up to make sure it doesn't get too attached to my felting surface. Then I'm going to put it back in. I can even flip it over and do the same thing again. Find your outside edges first, go around the outside to get things packed down, and then work your way back and forth across the center, packing down the wool and getting it all tangled up. Now this is pretty thin, so I'm going to add another layer. I want to kind of give special attention to those points of the star. And you just take your time. It's a great time to chat, have a visit, catch up on your day, or listen to some music. And don't try to rush. You don't want to poke yourself, and you want to get a nice tight form that will hold its shape. You can keep adding wool to make it thicker and stronger. When the shapes are done, you could string them together with some yarn to make a little decorative bunting. And there's lots of YouTube videos available to show all of those things. So it's just about continuing poking away at the wool, getting it tangled, getting it thick enough to hold its shape. I've taken some time to go around and around this star as well as across the center many times. So it should be nice and firm. The needle that I'll provide in the kit is a 38 twisted. There are many different sizes of needles and they have different functions, but this is my favorite kind of all-around needle. It's the one that I use the most and it will work just fine for this. So when I've got it nice and looking nice and flat and fairly smooth, I'm going to take it out of the cookie cutter. And I would say that you could feel free to trim the little fuzzy edges if you like. I'm just taking the little hairy bits off the sides. This would be a fun way for kids to practice color mixing because I will include primary colors in the kit, red, yellow, and blue, and there'll also be some white so you can turn your red wool into pink or your blue wool into a baby blue and that kind of thing. And there'll be a little bit of brown in case you have a bunny cookie cutter. And that would be fun. And there'll be a tiny bit of black in case you do want to add a little black eye or some other detail to your felted shape. Now you could really do some looking around on Pinterest for other ideas, because even with these simple ideas you can make really fun little ornaments, and it just depends on how patient you are, because for that kind of thing you just roll the wool up into a ball and then use the needle to poke around the outside and then a little bit through the middle to help hold that ball in shape. So lots of simple animals can be made this way as well. I hope you'll get in touch and get a kit and get creative. Take care. All the best.